I'm Nana.
I'm Ben.
We're AutoSave. Welcome to our channel.
Today we're watching Rezero, Season 1, Episode 21. When there is more than one whale, it is referred to as a pod. I'm scared.
I'm also scared.
Is Wilhelm going to break out of this whale from the inside, or is he dead and that means we need to die so we can try again? I don't know. I'm scared. I feel like I don't feel like we have enough forces on our side currently, and I don't know what to do.
See, we brought what we imagined we needed for one whale.
Mm-hmm.
There are others. I feel like that automatically, to me, signs that we need to start over and now bring to the table that information. But also narratively, I'm like, it would be so compelling to be able to survive this once learning it's a pod.
Yeah.
And not have to go back in time to, like, but, you know, there are candidates that aren't involved right now in the story. We could get more forces. We could try
Imagine if Puck was here. Imagine if we had a giant Puck and he could just throw these whales everywhere. Exactly. Beat them up, you know?
Ride them if you want.
Ride them. Yeah. Ugh. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Sweet. Like... Nice. Oh.
This little
Jesus.
despair is enough to stop me.
Giving up doesn't suit us.
What a shot.
This is really the perfect place for Subaru to shine in battle. Like, just his determination. The fact that he won't give up.
What a line to say before hitting the whale. Bludgeoning it.
Nice!
How could we not know that?
True.
So it's a trick. It's to protect the one that's real. Everyone else is just frozen in like
Rem's
fear.
Tired. Woo!
So not all of them are frozen.
Hell yeah, he is.
He probably wanted to keep fighting.
Good impression. Are they weaker since they've, like, become 3?
Explain.
Yes! He's not done yet.
Wow. The more you make it multiply, the weaker the main body will get.
I'm so excited.
Some risky business.
I love Krush so much.
You're already in it.
All right. True.
If our weakest man has not given up.
How is kneeling in defeat acceptable for us? Ah. Nice! Oh my god!
Yes, 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 yes. We're winning in this battle.
Yeah.
We're 100% winning.
Alright, Subaru, what's the plan? It worked.
It did. It worked. It was great. You gotta know how to motivate your peeps.
Time for the climax. Whoa! Whew. Was Subaru on it? What a great line for him to say.
The scaling.
The whispering again.
He's leading it down to the ground. Like he's free falling and...
What a shot! Whew! Oh, that must have hurt.
That probably does not feel good.
It's all better.
It's all better now, yep. Cushion the fall. I love her.
Ever since Rem's confession, she's just shameless about it.
I know, it's so great. We got still shots.
The flowers.
Oh, come on.
Oh.
His sword was even broken.
Oh, what a shot.
If that's not romance, I don't know what is. Yeah.
Oh. Oh. He's so cool. Put respect on his name. two of them. You can see it in the shadow.
I would not. Shameless
Krush
enough
is
to
so
claim your
fucking cool.
achievement. She'd be like, I'd pick her.
Oh. Subaru's turning down so many people.
We will never be enemies. Krush is number 1 in mine.
Krush's dialogue is so amazing.
Went from this to this. Yeah.
What are they gonna do with the body?
We still have a lot to do.
Eat it? I love him so much.
That's awesome. We're not even just going in alone.
I mean, you're seeing directly, like, what the cause and reaction is. Aww.
Rem staying behind, though, I couldn't imagine.
At least she'll be safe.
They're like paralleling each other a bit.
Rem's making birds appear out of nowhere. Sparkles.
She's a Disney princess. He looked exhausted.
Splitting them up too. Damn.
Here they come.
Tivy.
Completely different. Oh, hey! Oh, hey! I was wondering where you were at.
Take a deep breath, Subaru. Take a deep breath. Okay, that was Rezero Season 1, Episode 21. God, Wilhelm. That's all I want to say. That's all I want to talk about for this entire discussion. I need posters on my wall of him. You know, like, growing up, I had a neighbor who had this, like, there's a brand name for it, but it's basically a massive, life-size cutout figure of, like, a football player, of his favorite, like, football player on his favorite football team on his, like, basement wall. I need that of just Wilhelm. Yeah. Like, next to me at all times, motivating me.
So in love with the romance that we got That whole like scene of them fighting in the past, I was like, I'm living for this. This is making my heart incredibly happy. It's like scratching the itch of like wanting romance all the time that I have constantly.
You know what's crazy too? It's like I know that like the entire premise of this show is extraordinary and super interesting because of the ability that Subaru has, but I could watch an entire spin-off of what Wilhelm and his wife, like that entire upbringing, like I could have seen seasons of it, of their connection developing, and the unfortunate like end to her life, like I could have watched the entire thing spanning over seasons.
I think one of the most compelling and interesting choices a writer can make is to write all or some of their other characters in ways that where the viewer could imagine or the reader could imagine what it would be like to have a whole
Series.
series on that character. That
Yep.
they, even in quick moments of basically 2 episodes, capturing the audience enough, the reader enough to be like, oh, I would love more content of those 2 characters, or I would love to see more of their story, or I could have seen their story in like a movie format or something of that nature. It's always like really compelling because it's risky from a writing standpoint to give your side characters or other characters other than your main character too much attention. It
Yeah.
can be risky because what if you like make it so the viewer doesn't like the main character? I mean, I feel like when you ask people like, "Oh, who's your favorite anime character?" I feel like a lot of people would actually maybe not pick
The protagonist?
protagonists.
Yeah.
But they need to be likable enough where you wouldn't want to replace them as the main character in the story.
I think it's like you have to balance it, right? I think that's a really interesting discussion point, though. Like, how do you make your protagonist people's favorite character in the series, right? I would argue that they're doing an amazing job in terms of Subaru, and I think that it's extremely unconventional, and because of how unconventional it is, it might be divisive because I can imagine the frustration because I felt it towards somebody like Subaru, but where what that frustration means is added depth that didn't need an added risk that didn't need to be taken. You can think of so many other protagonists in shows who are they're very like forward with their beliefs and unmoving, right? They're unmovable with their constitution.
Mm-hmm.
And I I think it's so intriguing to see a character that is the protagonist be put under a microscope
Mm-hmm.
and twisted and shaped different ways, and me to see the cracks within them, and then to go forward with that. Like, it makes me feel like there's so much growth is meaningful. It's so cool. I think they're doing a great job.
I think it has an interesting effect on the viewer or reader's attachment to Subaru. I mean, we think about it, if you just think about it on a broader scale, if you have a strong emotion or reaction tied to a person, they're then going to be more evident in your mind. They're going to have a stronger impression on you because of that strong emotion you felt. So Subaru, we start off for like, this is main character energy. He's a protagonist of an anime. He's like able to make friends, and he's likable, and he's funny, and so he fit those roles. But then we started to go down the route of his decline and his despair, and he started to do things and say things that the viewer was like, I'm uncomfortable with this, I don't like him speaking like that. And we start to have these negative emotions. You know how they say like all press is good press, or whatever, like even negative press. Mm-hmm. And so what the effect it had is, if you push through your feelings of being upset at him at that time, what you get is even more of a fulfilling feeling when he pushes through it. Because we're attached to him now. We're attached to this climax, this incline that he's on of bringing himself out of the despair. Because we were tested. We were given this character, and then we were tested on do you still like him even when he's like this? Do you still root for him even when he's like this? Do you still hope for the best for him? Are you sick of him, or is he too annoying for you? Because
Yeah.
he brings up being annoying in this episode. That's why I use that word.
Yeah.
And I think that what the effect that it had is that it attaches us more to him.
Because of all of the 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 lows he was at, we're able to appreciate the highs more.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when asked about like tragedies in your life, or things that you hate to look back on, or anything that's like I'm trying to be vague, but like anything that might have happened to you in your life specifically, that you could look at as one of the biggest regrets of your life, or something as the biggest low point in your life. Those you could look at as they exist, so that when those highs show themselves, they burn brighter,
Mm-hmm. You can
right?
identify them, you can appreciate them.
Yeah, and the idea of that spectrum being open to you, of you seeing how low life can get, or how awful or uncomfortable a situation can be, makes you appreciate when things aren't that way a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And I completely agree and think that that is the character of Subaru. He feels, and another consequence of that is he feels so alive.
Mm-hmm.
He feels so living
Yeah.
and breathing. He feels like a person, like a brother, like it feels real, like so tangible and in front of me.
It's like the person that wrote him was like, I want you to actually like Subaru. Like, I want you to care about Subaru. I don't want him to just be the eyes that you view this story through,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
the person that you see as being like the device used to show the story and tell the story. I want you to actually care about him and like him, and be interested in him.
Yeah. It's really interesting because like I'm over here gushing about Wilhelm, as I should be, but like I think that's a really good comparison though, because there are protagonists of some TV shows or movies that are very like, oh, I'm badass, I'm cool, I'm stoic, and they deserve to be in their own lane and praised for their own reasons, but it's a totally different feeling when you let your character make mistakes that are
Mm-hmm.
so obvious to the viewer,
Yeah.
and seeing them grow. It's like, instead of being a lens of seeing what story is taking place, it feels like I'm genuinely a part of the adventure that he's
Mm-hmm.
on.
I
And
don't want my main characters and protagonists to be perfect.
yeah, I
Because I want to, if I want to be immersed in a story, I want to put myself in there. I'm not going to imagine these two-dimensional, not very complex personalities surrounding me in this world. I'm going to picture real people, because that is what I'm used to.
yeah.
And so I want it to feel like he's a real character. I want him to feel real. I don't want him to feel like too shallow.
We've talked about in the show before how it feels like we're almost feeling what Subaru is in the episode to a smaller degree, because we're watching these characters that we
Mm-hmm.
love get killed or
Yeah.
tortured. And it's so interesting how they're able to maintain and utilize that to this point, because we've seen him be everything that Krush was calling him,
Mm-hmm.
right? And in that negative way, but using it for such a positive thing,
Mm-hmm.
and such a motivational thing. And it feels like Krush was almost talking to us in a way, like seeing this person who is the least capable one on the battlefield doing all this stuff, and how important and meaningful and show of strength that actually is.
It's the whole experience of feeling for Subaru and understanding his emotions. It's all on purpose. This idea that he is a, if you just imagine yourself that he is like one of us, was picked up and put into a situation like this. That's what he's representing, is this real person. He was just walking around in Japan one day
Mm-hmm.
and magically got transported to this fantasy crazy world with a bunch of traumatic events about to ensue.
Yeah.
And so those moments where we see those lows, what happens with that uncomfortable feeling is that we're almost internally calling ourselves out. like we'd like to think that, oh, if I was the protagonist of a story, I'd be like badass, I'd be
I wouldn't
awesome,
make any
I
mistakes.
wouldn't make any mistakes. And so when we see him do it, we're like, oh, he fucked up. Why'd he make that mistake? Or, oh, that's embarrassing that he's talking that way and falling so deeply. He needs to be stronger. Any of those little feelings that we got throughout his like journey of despair is all like that slight kind of edge we have internally of not wanting to admit
Yeah, yeah,
what our
yeah.
own like weakness is, and
Like
that we are human. And like, if you actually, we were uncomfortable being faced with how we would have actually reacted to what he was going through in this loop.
like it's so like, dude, why aren't you just doing things differently? It's akin to like watching a horror movie and being like, don't open the door, don't open the door, but like in like a like more serious
Yeah.
comparison. Like it's so easy to be like, dude, why don't you just like think differently, or why don't you just change what you're doing? Like, can't you see what I'm
You're the
seeing?
protagonist of a
Like,
story. It's like blurring the lines of like us being like, no, but you're in a story, so you're supposed to do it right.
yeah.
You were written by someone, so like you're supposed to do it right. You're can't make mistakes, and there's this like blurring of the line between that. And it's really interesting that I think that's what attaches us more to Subarus, because we're
Do,
being forced to like almost feel a kindred spiritness of like, oh, if I was actually in that
yeah.
world, I probably would feel and think and do a lot of similar
So I have
things
a
to him.
question for you. So in terms of like Subaru's personality and like his humanistic nature, right? There are a lot of things that we're given to like solidify and give us examples of what kind of person he is in a good way. We've seen his ups and downs, of course, but at the end of the day, he seems to be like very caring and wanting to save these people. Do you think that the idea of him being unable to communicate his, rebirth, right? The idea of him returning after death, that the ability, like him not being able to communicate that, do you think that that was thought about by the author in terms of what kind of moral character Subaru is? Because if you have that ability and choose not to tell people about it, then that could mean that you are a certain type of person. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? And that by telling him and telling us that he
He's
cannot,
not able to. It's
or he
almost
could
like,
kill people, or himself.
right. It is somewhat like I could think about in Subaru's like lower points. He he did in times of like wanting to bring it up or wanting to think of it. He at some points thought of it as this special power only he has. He's here in this world. He's like, it's like, the hero, but now he has a better reason to call himself a hero.
Yeah.
And he's thinking about it the right way. But he could have totally thought of it as this like card he could flash in front of people to like, be like, haha, you want me on your side because I have this ability,
Yeah.
and try to leverage himself using that.
Hmm.
And he at some point in his emotions could have totally tried to use it
Yeah.
to his advantage to
Or
further
specifically
himself,
not telling
or
people, like to
specifically
get
not
like to
telling
take
people.
advantage of them.
Because I think he also eventually would realize that to some people that would be incredibly unsettling to know that he's had experiences with them
Well,
that
not
like,
from even Subaru's perspective, right? From the authors, like narratively. If you are like okay, Subaru wakes up again in the mansion from scratch. Rem and Ram don't know who he is. If he is like if he intentionally doesn't tell them, oh my god, like I've seen, like I know you guys, I'm predisposed to this information and I'm going to utilize that to make you have more favor upon me.
mm-hmm.
If he doesn't say that, you could like, as a viewer, you'd assume that he's a certain type of person, but removing that like even ability of him communicating that in the first place, like he
Mm-hmm.
can't do that at all. Like it's such like a interesting early direction to make with your character.
It seems I would think it's inspired by what you see for superheroes.
Mm.
Is that there's normally conditions. There's normally like boons and banes, like they have a weakness to something, kryptonite,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that they have this incredible strength and ability, but there are conditions. My Hero Academia has that sort of
Yeah,
conversation
yeah.
a bit, that there are conditions to this great power that you have. And I think that
It's
that's
multifaceted.
that's what we got with the rule or condition that he can't speak on it without repercussions.
eh, and since we're bringing it up, this episode specifically, when he utilized like trying to make that witch's scent
Mm-hmm.
stronger, I could be misremembering, but I felt like last episode when we did it, all we got was the whisper.
Mm-hmm.
This episode,
We
we
even
definitely
got
got the whisper and the
the
grab. Are
hand.
things gradually getting more severe or more or worse? Is it situational or like, you know what I mean?
I wonder if so. Okay, just listen to this train of thought that I'm on from what you just asked. So with the whisper that the witch did, um, if we were surprised that there was no hand grabbing the heart, and I feel like with this second one and that being included, I feel like it was like one of those kind of nods, like you got maybe a little bit overly excited by the fact that I didn't do anything to you last time.
Yeah.
But just remember that I'm like here and I can. It's almost like a little bit of like I let your leash out a little bit,
Yeah.
but just remember I still hold it.
Yeah. I
That's the feeling I had.
I get you. Do you think like the witch is like pissed about him utilizing it in this way? Because like he's like making this like he's if this wasn't her intended purpose that he would utilize it this way, he is making a fool out of her a bit by utilizing it so well in so many different instances.
Unless it was her intention to have it. I
Yeah.
think another possibility to throw into the mix is normally when creatures or people have been around for a very long time compared to human years, normally those characters tend to be very entertained by the things that surprise them.
Interesting.
So they like to test people. They like to be surprised because they've lived so long. What surprises them
Yeah, yeah,
anymore?
yeah. Huh.
So that's a place you could go, is that maybe this whole experience with Subaru and the witch is getting to watch it is very entertaining. And he's not necessarily like, she probably feels like she has a bunch of disposable pawns and creatures she can create and havoc she can wreak. So it's like,
Yeah.
wow, you took down one of mine? Like, interesting, cool. Like, you're like surprising me.
Dude, Krush is might be my favorite. Like I have so many favorite characters in this
I
show,
wrote
but
down
Krush,
I heart Krush.
I love Krush so much. Everything about her, everything like I initially loved her design. Then her in armor, I didn't realize that I could love something that much. And then her sword and the ability with the sword, amazing, 10 out of 10. This episode specifically, though, her dialogue was extraordinary. I love her use of
Like
language.
already has been extraordinary, and use of language was already extraordinary.
Yeah.
From the time that we really got to sit down and meet her, but it was especially great in this episode. I honestly, Krush is like that's like the epitome of like the type of character I'm like, that's my favorite character in the show.
Yep.
And I'm like, I know that Subaru is in love with Amelia.
Yeah.
But that's Subaru's choice. That is not my choice.
You're not necessarily in love with Amelia.
Yeah, exactly. So
you're in love
with Krush.
Yeah. I like the specific wordage Krush uses. Natsuki Subaru, allow me to correct one idea you have. Like, it's not even like, I love the intention behind Krush's like words here, right? The meaning behind what she's saying, and you could kind of see it coming, right? But it's how she words it that is so poetic and so great. Even if we do find ourselves in conflict one day, I shall remain friendly toward you. And that whole, like, what follows in this conversation too, that whole reiteration of like, I get what you're saying, Subaru. We might be at arms one day, but how we are going to act when that day comes, I need to specify that this is going to be the case. I will always look upon you with favor. I will not forget what happened today. Like, I love that. It's so cool.
I totally agree with you. I also like that in my notebook, I wrote down two things and they're next to each other and the same word is there, but at one point you would use the word and then the other point the show used the word. So it says, Rem is shameless since confession.
Yeah.
And then this dialogue from Krush of shameless to steal, like, your achievement.
Yeah, it would be.
It's a theme.
God, Rem.
Who has shame and who doesn't?
I don't know, like, what has happened to Rem? Rem is like, just basking in like her in
She's just like free. She is incredibly free to do and say whatever she wants now. Like she's not holding back. She's funny with it.
but she's
She's
like more
like,
lewd now about it too.
which is so great because women can be lewd too.
Of course, but like it's
And
so funny to see
I just
like
like it's so unapologetic.
I
It's so just it's so funny and it's so cute and it's endearing and it feels like
thank you for the treat.
I know it's so good. I'm like Rem's character and what this confession has like given to her that she is just like wow,
It's freedom.
Subaru accepts me completely for who I am and how I feel about him. We don't have any there's no like secrets of like I can act and be my real self and
Yeah.
he still loves and cares for me and that's the gift that he's given her from that conversation is feeling like she doesn't have to do when we met her she was this overworking over
Yeah.
analyzing like trying to mastermind situations so that like kill Subaru in a way in place that Ram doesn't find out she's doing it
Yep.
like she was like trying to think 10 steps ahead and it's like now she's been given this freedom to just like be this is a person that can be a real genuine friend and
Yep.
person to her that cares for her for who she is and she can just be unapologetically herself and in the theme with shame uh if our weakest man has not given up you shouldn't either.
That's true. Then that guy who also has lost loved ones, who is friends with Wilhelm, threw this fucking thing like a mile ahead to hit the whale in the eye. It was
Impressive.
great. It was
To
amazing.
prove to us that Subaru is definitely weak in comparison to to the old men on Krishna's side.
Sleep for all eternity. That's a great line. I want somebody to say that to me one day. You know, like if like I don't know, if and when my time comes and it is by the hands of somebody stronger than me and it's in a battle for glory, then I hope that they would send me off with such a line like sleep for all eternity.
If you did happen to ever be involved in a battle for glory, I also would hope that you'd be sent off that way.
Me too.
But I don't really think battles for glory happen. So I don't know if you're gonna like happen upon one someday or you're gonna like make it up yourself. So I don't know if you'll actually get to have that.
We'll see.
I'm sorry.
That's fine. Do you think this is like a save point?
Okay, so
Subaru?
I had written down that the season finale is definitely coming from where we are in the story.
I mean, it's episode
And
21.
obviously
What,
with the
usually
episode-
24, 25?
So with the numbers, yes, also, but where we are in the story, definitely. We have this kind of big final battle and thing. This is we have to save Amelia here.
Yeah.
We cannot. I mean, maybe they'll end the season with like a cliffhanger of did we not? But I would assume that we will probably be actually defeating the witch's cult, and Amelia will not die.
Is there a season 2? I fucking hope.
I don't know. I would think there would need to be, but I mean, sometimes anime doesn't get like.
No, I mean,
And
like, is
more
it in
seasons.
development still? Like, I don't, like, do we have to
I don't know
wait?
how old this is.
Me either.
Like, I
But-
don't even know what year this is from.
So do you think that, like, if we die in the next battle, we'd wake up after the battle with the white whale?
I think so.
Okay.
I think that this would be a save point. Yeah, I feel like where we are is that we have all these people. Julius is there. Come on, we're not gonna re-see Julius walk up to us on a horse. You know, like we are.
True.
This is the save point. Is once we saw his face and we made an angry face back.
Yep, that is a pretty... Yeah.
It all starts from there.
Yeah, it's pretty impressionable.
Mm-hmm.
I love Ricardo. I'm happy we're going to get to see him a little bit more. Excited to see what he has to bring to the table.
I'm excited but nervous. I also am really shocked that he was able to heal up so well to be
Yeah.
able to go with.
Ram's gone.
That was surprising.
Yeah.
But I think that it's a good.
I feel like it's a good sign
good
for
choice.
us.
I think a good sign for us, but also interesting choice because Rem's sister is involved in this fight.
Mm.
And I feel like that's why it shocked me so much that I would feel like not only Force wanting to be beside Subaru, the idea of like going and saving Ram would also be very important to Ram. So I'm like a little confused by like how that didn't even come up in like topic of conversation.
Yeah.
Like when Ram was like, "No, take me with you. I want to be by your side." I'm like, "Why are we not talking about your sister?"
Well, who knows? We could maybe even like they're going to the village first, probably, right? Hopefully, we stop them before they even get to the
That's
castle.
true. That's true. I think I was just like a little bit surprised. Like I think I had these like expectations or feelings
Yeah, yeah,
that and then now I'm like a little bit confused about what information Rem actually has about whatever we're about to do more than the white whale.
yeah. Like what
Because
comes after?
obviously Subaru and us the viewer hold all of the information.
Yeah.
And so sometimes because we have that weird glitchy
Oh,
effect of
why
being
would a
like, wait,
character not know?
do
Yeah,
they
yeah.
not know that thing? But we already saw it. Oh, but that
I
was a
mean,
new life. Like
I it would be hard for me to think that Subaru would be like, yeah, your sister's gonna die because like that would,
if the witch's cult is
yeah,
able to get to Roswell's mansion, yeah,
yeah,
I don't think she would have been able to leave in the way that she did
yeah. If she
if
knew,
she knew
I
that
agree
that
with
was the
that
case. But also, why is she not questioning him on what he's going to do?
because she trusts her hero,
Okay, maybe I'm
and
just
she
stupid.
can conjure birds and sparkles out of
Yeah,
thin air
that's
and
true.
ice. She can
And
do that too.
ice.
That we've seen that several times, and there's acknowledgement of that.
Oh, it's
Waiting
so
for the
funny
acknowledgement of birds and sparkles, though.
making the big one so he could ride on top of
Oh,
it. Like
I
that's
think
just
my favorite,
so.
legitimately my favorite, like my favorite scene of this entire episode was Subaru falling from the sky with the whale falling out, like chasing him.
Mhm.
The scale was extraordinary. It was so cool.
Once we got the shot of him like on the horn and it was kind of like tilted so he
Yeah, yeah,
was
yeah.
bigger, but then like one of the next frames we saw was the whale all big, mainly taking up like the composition of the frame. And you
Oh,
see this like tiny little ant.
it was great. Whoever storyboarded it,
Good job with that. I mean,
amazing.
especially when you're dealing with
Scale's hard to
like
convey.
and when you're dealing with something so big and then something so small in comparison,
Yeah.
to frame that and storyboard that, like they did a really great job.
Mm-hmm. Loved it.
Like they gave us those shots where the main character's literal speck on the screen.
Yeah.
But then they also like gave us these tilted shots that show like almost you're on their shoulder, on the person's shoulder view of what they're looking at, how big it would be.
Yeah. All right, that's all I have you. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And we hope to see you next time.